Guys, welcome back to Mums in Melanin. I'm Debbie.
I'm Takoni.
I'm Takumba.
And I'm Ayola.
And firstly, welcome back. To those that are tuning in every Tuesday, we appreciate you. But tell your friend to come and join you, yeah? When you're watching, just call your mate. Are you watching Mums in Melanin? We appreciate that even more. But anyway, so today's topic is going to be about influence. Bear with me, yeah? Because I saw something on TikTok and I was just so confused. So essentially, the girl was saying that her mum had disowned her because she had decided to open an African store online. And I guess the mum was like, well, your age mates are lawyers and doctors and you want to go and be selling meat and veg on the internet. And I was really like, because you've been hearing it so often. What does your child do? Oh, my child is a doctor. He works at the Hamilton.
It's like competition.
It's always competition. Then I started thinking, does the influence of society or friends or peers dictate how you parent your child? Like, because you know we always hear you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, a clinical engineer, or what did they say now? What's the next
Failure.
one? Failure.
No, all failure. If you're not a doctor, what are you talking about?
No,
Lawyer
competition.
or engineer, you're a failure. I've heard that. No, it's so funny.
It's a tough life, guys. So what are your thoughts on it? Do you feel like parents nowadays are doing the most to impress others for the sake of like...
I feel
bragging
like
rights?
our parents' generation, there was a lot of that. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the parents wanted to brag on their kids. Like, it meant a lot to them. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know.
It's a bad thing though.
I kind of do think it's a bad thing because I don't think it's your job to really put that pressure on a child to be who you couldn't have been or who you wanted to be. I think it's like those kind of things, like unfulfilled dreams or unfulfilled hopes. Do you know what I mean?
Even following the legacy of the family. So
Yeah,
maybe mum and
that's
dad are
true.
doctors and
That's true.
they
And they
expect...
put that pressure, yeah. But I think more times, the cases I know, it's not that the parents are lawyers or doctors. They're just, do you know what I mean? And they're expecting so much of their kid. And I think that, I don't think it's nice to put that pressure on the kids. And I feel like when it's the flip side, let's say the parents are really, I don't know, successful work-wise or really established, they don't have those pressures for their kids. Do you know what I mean? Actually, I've worked all my life and I've done all of this. You can now be who you want to be. Does that make sense?
So is it that they're...
Or not, I don't know.
Pressure, or is it that they want better for their children than they had for themselves?
I think
That's
so.
what
And
I
I think
think.
they have a certain route for that though.
I think we have to take into consideration these people and where they've come from and the fact that they've come into this country with nothing. And so they want you to have a better life than what they had. They can't give you that better life because they're kind of having to work from the bottom up. Do you know what I mean? So because they can't give it to you, they want you to have that so you don't have the same struggles as them.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why it's doctor, lawyer, engineer is because back in Africa, those were the kind of careers that were definitely going to make you secure and consistent good income. Whereas a lot of creatives, only now has it become a steady income. Only now has like social media been able to push these things. Prior, only your local neighborhood know about your meat pie. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's only going to go so far. So it's harder. I don't necessarily think it's bad. I actually think it's a good thing for you to give your child something to aspire to. However, I think it's important to look at that child and their skill set. So if a child is a creative, very good with like music or dance, forcing them to, get A stars in science so that they can be a doctor is just wrong because essentially even if they get the A stars, and I know people that got degrees for their parents.
So many.
Here's your certificate. I'm going to go do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I think a lot of the older generation are starting to understand that, particularly in Western countries and countries like this, UK, there's a lot more you can do to establish yourself. You know what I mean? There's a lot more businesses you can start. There's a lot more that you can do. And I think they're a lot more open to that now. So you find that people that are in schools, younger children now, are able to tell their parents, I want to be a, journalist. And they're a lot more open to it now. It's more how you're going to get there.
But I think it's because it's this generation though.
Exactly.
But do you
that's my
think
point.
do you think that the competition amongst parents changes and becomes more there's more to compete against?
I think parents are in a position now where rather than showing off their child is showing off their knowledge. Do you know that journalism these days really make a lot of money? So it's like they're using their child's aspirations to educate you that, by the way, it's not only about doctors. But I don't know if you've heard them talk.
bragging as well,
It is bragging, but I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with bragging about your child.
But there's nothing. I am an advocate for raising up my children and any child around. Oh my God, did you see the picture that somebody drew today? Because guess what? It's the little things that will make them feel like, let me step forward. But I also feel like our parents, it wasn't because they were bragging about the accomplishments that we as their children have received, but it's more so like, actually, we came from nothing. I've come to this country, look what I've got. What do you have now? Oh, okay, you're one. Somebody said that this person has, what are you coming to do next? It becomes very like, I need to one up. And it's no longer about the child and what they're achieving, but more so what it looks like for you, your status. This is what the underneath is. Now, it now becomes the status of that parent. Okay, maybe back in Ghana or Nigeria, you came from a good family, whatever, but you didn't really have the status like that. But you've come here, your child is doing well. By rights now, that is your child. So you two are doing well.
Yeah.
And the better your child does, the better it looks for you.
Yeah.
Do you know
so
what I
their
mean?
children have become like an extension
through their children.
Yeah, it's become an extension of their self-worth and
they're pushing them to do more. Because them themselves, the better their child does, the better they look in society. Yeah. They don't need to now go and be struggling to work left, right and centre, because their child is doing so well, they can sit back and chill. And I guess that's every parent's dream, isn't it? You want your child to do well, to grow up and to get a good education, get a good job, earn money, so they can look after you in your old age.
Yeah, but I think our parents want that because they didn't grow up in this country. They didn't have. I don't want to have to grow up and live off Makaya. If you're able to give me, that's great. But I actually want to know that I've established myself so much so that I can bless you whilst you're young. You have things that are giving you, what's the word? Passive income. Passive income, thank you very much. And I know that I've set myself up equally that I'm comfortable. I don't actually want to have to live off you. I think it's very different when you've had to go and do jobs you never would have done. A lot of our parents were like graduates back in, I'll speak for Nigeria because obviously that's where my parents are from. I know the type of degrees that they had, the masters that they had, the type of jobs and the levels they were on. And when they came to this country years and years ago, who's employing them in there? No one. They're not, like, there was many reasons. There's the fact that your accreditation isn't really valued here, amongst so many other things, and penetrating in the white collar companies and all the rest of it. There's many reasons, but the point is, for them, they've had to do, imagine like
start
the way we
over.
are now, and then having to do a job you never ever thought in your life you would have to do because of your child. So naturally you've made such a huge sacrifice for them. It is a bit of a brag that like, I sacrificed and now we're here. Because of my sacrifice, that's why you're able to do what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, to some degree, I don't think it's wrong. I understand it. I think as long as you're not putting pressure on that child in the wrong direction, that's when it's misused.
But I feel like normally they do put pressure on the child in order to get that bragging. So they want to brag at the end of the day.
So they're going back to this TikTok.
I think you guys are talking about very, like, our days. Like my brother, for example, there's no pressure.
Yeah, but again,
there's pressure to do well, but it could be in art.
But he's got older siblings that are already. Do you know what I mean? So parents have already, they're bragged already ahead. So normally the younger ones can kind of get away with it because they've already.
They know what you're capable of.
Yeah, they've already got. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
This is it.
But then I guess bringing it to our generation.
Yeah.
Do we feel like that's still a thing now that people are pushing their kids into a certain direction? Like I was having a conversation, I was saying but I realised you were in the conversation. So I was having a conversation with one of our friends, but you know about the conversation afterwards anyway. And she was saying that, she's putting her daughter in this private school and the husband was like, yeah, but if she goes to this private school, I'm expecting, a return on my investment. I'm expecting her to become doctor, lawyer, whatever. And the wife was like, no, you can't really have those expectations. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to just give freely, obviously hoping that they come out doing okay, but you can't really put that on them because they're their own person. They may choose another path, or they may want to become a comedian, or you don't know. Obviously you didn't send them, but you don't know, isn't it? So it's those sort of mindsets are still true even in our age group. Do you know what I mean? That actually there's certain careers that are, important and they have a lot of status, and that's when we want our kids to stand up.
Are there any careers that you're like, no thank you?
Okay, so for me personally, and I believe it's true, I'm trying to search from heart to make sure, but as long as you're happy, right, and you can support yourself, I don't mind. Don't ask me for no money. Do you know what I mean? No, it's the truth. Do you know what I mean? If you can support yourself and your family and because some people don't need £1 million to live a happy life. Do you know what I mean? If you can do for you and yours and you're happy with what you're doing and do you know what I mean? You enjoy it. Yeah, you enjoy it and all the rest of it. Like whatever path, it's okay. My only question becomes when you can't support your family or support yourself. That's where it's now okay. So what are you gonna do then?
So you said don't ask for any money. If they're doing a job that you deem to be a respectable job, but they're just hard on their luck. Are you happy to give them money?
Why? What's hard on your luck? You're doing a job.
You're working a job, but maybe it's not paying enough. Then they're searching for another job, but currently they're in a role that is a respectable role, but they're not really making ends meet.
Why then? Then you're overspending. Let's review your budget.
Okay, but in that
or are you planning to move to?
I'm not for all of that. For whatever reason they need money, are you happy to give it to them?
No, it's not. My giving wouldn't be based on the jobs. It's not like, you're dustbin man, I'm not giving you money, but you're an accountant, I'm giving you money. Just either way, I just think that as an adult, you should be able to be on your own 2 feet. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're young, you're uni, but now you're a man. Let's say you're now 29, 30. You're a grown man now. Maybe you've got kids, whatever you got going on. You should be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And if that means it's a job that maybe I find different, I'm just trying to think of something. I don't know, like you're a painter, just something very different from what I would have thought. If you can make a living with it, do you know what I mean? You can enjoy the fruits of your labour, you can provide for yourself. I'm not, like, who am I? Do you know what I mean? What's like, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to force you to become something that I never was. Like, it's too much pressure. Like, why would I do that to you? Like, you know?
I think just off the back of what you're saying, I agree with you, but I think also the child's character is a big thing, because you get some people who, they understand that the industry that they're in may not always give you money, may not have a paycheck at the end of the month, but then kind of people are willing to go and do a night shift or pick up like, some flexible work
to make ends meet,
because they need to make ends meet. And then you get the children who, because I'm a creative, I don't want to sit behind a desk, so I'm not going to, and then I'm wondering about the come to us month for money, because right now it wasn't really a great month with my I don't know, creative skills. I don't know what to pick, so whatever. And maybe I didn't have a lot of clients with my photography, which is great, but maybe didn't have a lot of clients this month, so it didn't quite work out. In that scenario, which can be you can thrive as a photographer, would you give your child money?
No, I'm not trying to be evil. Do you know what I mean? I'm your mum. I'm your mum. Yeah, so it's not based on career. Either one. If you're down on your luck, you're down on your luck.
Yeah.
But my assumption is you have a better plan that you're more up than you're down.
Yeah.
Anything could happen, do you know what I mean? But you've actually got a steady something going on, no matter what field it's in.
I think for my child, as long as I can see that character, that you're willing, you understand that you have needs, you need to meet your needs, you understand that you need to look after your family, so you're willing to do what it takes, alongside your desires to do that, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of child, because there are people like that, you can't dictate, regardless how much you put into your child, there's some kids that are just, some people are just the way they are, and they're just not ready to go into, they may just not be ready, depending on their age. Some people, even though they're older, they're still not quite ready to sit behind a desk because they just don't think it's them. Do you know what I mean? If you're that kind of person, I won't really want to be giving, I actually won't give you money so you understand that you need
to
because
go
if I give you money,
right.
I'm feeding the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Very
technically, everybody goes through dry patches
reliable.
at some stage, life happens, you need to be able to work it out, do you know what I mean? But I think, will I kind of force them into a particular career or say, oh, this is well paid and you won't have problems here? I won't, because I just don't think I don't think they're going to give their best. I think they'll probably get sacked if they don't just if they don't quit themselves. So it's just not worth it. Do you know what I mean? In the longer run, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think adding to that is that they need to do something they enjoy. That you need to love it.
I would love
because I feel like when you're
before we don't always find what we enjoy like that.
But also, I think there needs to be a level of comfortability for you to even search.
Yes.
You know, sometimes like when you're thrown into life, you ain't got no money. You don't even have no time to explore. Can I do this or do that? Yeah. No, you need a job and you need to pay your bills. Yeah. So I would love it if you actually had a bit of breathing room to explore.
Yeah.
Do you know, like this? Let me do. You know, like the Gen Zs do. They'll be quitting every other day. Do you know what I mean? Like because it's a freedom.
How do you feel about that? If that was your kid that just kept. It won't really quite for me.
But if you've got money in the bank, like
you don't. You're fresh out of uni, but you're Gen Z and you're just because
you need to pay your bills. How are you paying your bills?
Yeah, that's something. You don't have no bills.
Have you watched some of these Gen Z people?
They're living at home. What bills are they paying?
Exactly.
Their phone bill. They'll manage it.
Exactly.
I think then there'll need to be a time limit because there will come a time where you have to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
I can't be paying everything and doing everything forever. Like eventually, you can, even when you're in your mum's house, you can be saving for when you're ready to move out.
But
it's not
working.
just.
It's not like they're not working. They're saving, but they're choosing to leave the job when they feel like leaving
That's
the job.
fine. But if you have a bit of savings in the
I don't
bank,
think that's fine.
if you have a bit of savings in the bank, like okay, you're moving to your next step. Let's say you tried, I don't know, this thing, you didn't really like it. Now you have the option. Because I just feel like, for me personally,
when you don't like
I feel
it,
like I had the option if I didn't like a job to just quit and move to another job.
Yeah, but sometimes it builds resilience in you. In life, things are always going to be sweet.
I know.
But then if you don't like it,
sometimes even in parenting,
but it's nice to
there's going to be days that you're actually just like, oh my God.
But what about applying for the new job while you're still working? working to
That's
make
even-
to
that's
make it
even-
make sense.
That's even good.
Financially.
But then
That's fine.
there's a level of like, you have to have a level of comfort to jump off one tree to another, even if, because some people don't. Do you know what I mean? Because this is what you know and you're safe here. Do you know what I mean? It's a risk to move
Comfort
to
zone.
another field or something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah.
So I that's what I like. I like that Gen Z are not scared to jump out of their comfort zone and to try other things.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from normally a sense of comfortability. Do you know what I mean? Your parents, there's enough that actually they don't need your money to pay the bills or whatever. So actually, if I do leave this job, I've still got a roof over my head and I can try something else. Yeah.
But you better be looking for those new jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
to be
that's
honest,
fine.
you shouldn't really
That's
be
fine.
looking at, take some annual leave and look for the
Yeah,
job.
that's
what it
fair.
is. The
That's
reason why I'm
fair.
saying
That's
this is
fair.
because sometimes if we're too used to a mentality that you just get rid of what you don't like and wait for what you do like, you might have a full, 4 years where you get a job like that, and then the 5th year it's just a desert. There's just for some reason everyone's giving you unfortunately. You know, it will just hit you like. Do you know what I mean? So you have to be able to handle. Sometimes you're going to be a job that you love, but with a terrible manager, you have to be able to
Manage,
have a plan and understand why you're sticking out, what you're sticking out. Do you know what I mean?
Bigger
So
picture.
Or it may even be exit. You may be working the job you don't like, and you'll know that okay, you're sticking it for this
X
number
amount
of
of
years
time,
to move to do
exactly.
launch this or
Yep.
do that. So yeah, there
But
needs to be
quitting,
some thought
sitting at
behind
home,
it.
watching,
No.
I don't know, Love Island.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Love Island comes on in the night time, so you can watch
I
Love
mean,
Island after work.
You know, my point is,
If you're watching
you're
Loose
watching
Women,
some type of daytime TV, you know, and you're not particularly trying to get yourself together or build yourself, or because sometimes if you keep quitting, because your experience isn't taking you so far, you can't go for the next level higher. So you keep kind of going for similar level roles, whatever that is. So how are you really building your career here?
And don't employers actually ask your gap between jobs? Why did you leave?
That's true.
What were you doing in that time you were unemployed?
Yeah, I think but I hope to not put those sort of pressures on my kids of you have to do this or you have to take this route. Like I want you to try and find something you love or something at least that can maintain your lifestyle and it works for
because
you.
of that, I actually would love to encourage all my children to do a gap year if they go to uni.
It's
I've
nice, yeah.
been so big on it because I just think with uni you learn the theory part of things, you don't actually know what the practical of what you're learning looks like, and it gives you an opportunity to be like, okay, let me go and check this, let me go and, do you know what I mean, maybe criminal law is not for me, let me go into, I don't know, corporate or whatever. So I think it's good to try and wherever possible, long holidays, try and encourage your children to get experience in a random field even, just so you get a feel.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
it's so easy to say I like this, but it's the idea of it and what school has told you about it. You don't actually know what that life looks like or
When you're in it.
Do you know what I mean?
The reality is there's very few children or people generally that actually know this is what I want to do. You know, you'll hear people say, I knew from when I was 3 years old I was going to be a singer and a dancer and nobody could tell me anything else. And you're just looking at them like, because I just feel like that's how they spoke. And then there's the people that are like, yeah, I just always knew I was going to be a doctor from the moment that I saw. And then you're just like, yeah, because when I was just playing with my Barbies, I didn't know that something was going to come, and then maybe I watched Grey's Anatomy, I saw there was blood, I said that one's not for me. You know, like, it's not really there. So the exploration, I like that. I like being able to know that.
And that's
I think it's not being
children explore.
This is it.
But I think also not being afraid that careers can change. Like even when you go to uni, first of all, like I went to uni, my first degree was psychology. I didn't know how I was going to navigate to nursing. I wasn't going to be a nurse initially. I was like, no, don't need nursing, blood, dying. I even went to, when I became studying, I did intensive care, saw the dying. I was like, no, I don't know how I'm going to do this nursing. But it's just like, finding your path, things change, and not being afraid of that as well. Like,
and these kids now, there's so many. The world is changing so much that by the time they're even young adults ready to enter the world of work, everything is just going to be up in the sky. So, Chibi Isaiah said to me the other day, Mum, I want to be a YouTuber. I said, pardon? He said, yeah, can you show me how you do Mums and Melon? I said, I don't know how to do it.
he's like, I heard him asking, but how do you get on a screen? How do you get
it? Okay,
how did you get it?
That's so
don't
funny.
worry about
it.
Because we're in the age of the internet.
Yeah.
So the YouTubing, the content creator will now be a role that is advertised on Indeed. At some point, it will be advertised. We need a content creator to do the world is changing so much, but I just want to make sure that at least have the maths, the English, have a sensible foundation. Anything you want to schooling wise, education wise,
have a uni or just like
I would like for them to. So my mum's always said you can do anything you want, but you need to have a backup. So that backup has to carry you to at least university. So do your studies up to university. After that, go into the world of whatever you want to do. But at least you know you have something to fall back on.
I don't actually,
and I feel like that.
What about footballers?
That's what I'm saying. That's my brother was big into football, so he was like, I'm gonna be a footballer. That's it. Mum said, okay, no problem. Go to school first. Finish your school, then you can go and do whatever. Funny enough, now quick tangent. I saw on Instagram today a guy, one of the fastest runners. He's an accountant. He started running when he was 26, and it was because he had to get a backup before he can go and do running. And I just thought to myself, 26 years old, you finished all of your education, and after you finished everything your mum told you to do, you went to become an accountant, and then you went to go and chase your real passion. And now you're the fastest.
But I wonder. That's something. Some people are too late. They peaked already.
Your knees have locked into one space
I
in
know,
a way
but
that you can't get.
You get older.
I would wonder.
I wouldn't want to know that. I don't want the possibility that because I made you spend an extra 4 years in education or so, you
missed out on.
You missed it because you could have been the best, but now you're not quite the best.
You can have the mindset that if it's
could have been the best sooner.
No, you can look at it from both sides.
Exactly.
Of the
If it's for you, let me have faith that it's for you and push you in this, because you can go to uni at any stage in your life. Let's be totally honest.
Very
yes,
true.
obviously people like to go at 18 or whatever, but uni is for everybody and anybody at any point that you're ready. So realistically, if your skill set is at its peak right now and I can get you there, who's this degree for? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where I kind of feel like, am I pushing my own security on you? Because maybe even if you're not good at football, or maybe you could be a coach, and maybe a great one at that because you did it right there and then. Do you know what I mean? I look at people like who made Alamuko. You guys might know her. Anyways, she made my wedding dress and she didn't go to uni. And I remember she was saying that, like, obviously coming from a Nigerian background, her parents were like, oh my God, you need to go. She is thriving in her business now. I don't know if you guys know her. Please go and check her page. Obviously, thank God she made my dress before she became lady.
the best of the best.
But the point is, she's thriving and she didn't go to uni. So is that comfort that we have from our teaching that university is your security? Because a lot of people have degrees and they are in high, even
and like you said, you can go and do a degree at any age.
And
you can go and do a degree at any age.
And then also,
and that's just a testament to show that the world is changing.
They're
not going to have the weight that they used to have.
Exactly. But you see, you saying that, not that, like you saying that is what our parents were saying when they were saying the whole doctor thing. It wasn't like they're trying to force their way per se, but it's in your mind. That's your safety net. At least I know for sure you're not gonna. There'll always be a need for a doctor. You know, like it's that.
You can take it anywhere.
I don't think there are obviously the parents that just live to show off. Yes, but I think a lot of them it's just that comfort that I want to make sure you're comfortable. You don't have to worry. You don't have to feel like you're living hand to mouth. Do you know what I mean? It's that.
They don't want the same struggles for you.
Because what's the point of the struggle?
But now, when I'm sort of thinking about it more, I wonder if it's like a fear of failure. Do you know what I mean?
By the parents, you mean?
Yeah, the parents have that and they're projecting it on the kids, and maybe the kids internalise that as well, that there's just a fear of failure. Do you know what I mean? Because when I go back to sort of switching jobs and stuff like that, it's like a fear that, you may not do well here. And I feel like Gen Z, they don't really have, they've got a lot of other things going on. But I feel like they talk about like failure being okay. Do you know what I mean? Like you fail, you will succeed. Ultimately, you'll win at the end of the day if you keep trying. The person that doesn't try will never win. So you have to kind of fail along the journey, and it's better to fail quick and better to fail fast and eventually get there than you don't even fail, you don't even try, and you'll never get there. So I wonder if it's that sort of thing as well. Do you know what I mean? Actually, they had a fear that you don't want your kid to fail, but that means they don't get a chance to try. They have to always be safe.
But pushing that child into, let's say, medicine, for example, and they're not passing exams.
Exactly.
That's a fail. They failed. Yeah.
And this is why I think it's important to teach a child resilience and like determination, because even in the field that you love, you might still be failing. Yes. It happens. It might take you 2 years longer to get that promotion than somebody else that doesn't have a degree and you have a degree and whatever else. Yeah. It's just not, do you know what I mean? It's not always equal. It's not always as simple as we say it. So you need that resilience. You need to have a dream. And I think regardless of the career my child brings to me, I want to understand your vision. How do we intend to get there? What's our 1 year goal, our 5 year goal? Because then you have something to work towards. So when things knock you back, you're like, how am I still going to achieve this goal? You have something to aspire to. When you don't, you can quit anyhow and start the same level job and it doesn't really matter because it's not to a goal. Do you know what I mean?
Same level every time.
No, it's true though. Like, some people are very happy with, I don't know, 30k, and they just feel like it's good, it's great, it's better than some of my peers, so I'm good. Like, so they don't aspire for more until somebody else is getting more or something. But you can't use somebody else. You have to have your own goals. And I always say to Micaiah, like, dream bigger, dream impossible and make it possible. Like, he's obviously 5. Maybe he understands. Maybe not. One day. But the point is, like, because an achievement only feels so great when it felt impossible and you got there. But if it feels like, I can do it, and you get there, the feeling is not the same. Do you know what I mean? It kind of feels like you get there, you're like, it's kind of like, what next? I'm here, innit? Yeah, exactly. So,
a lot of food for thought, guys. What do you guys think? Do you feel like this generation, we're a lot more accommodating of what our children want and their needs, and where they've, like Iola said, the vision, dreaming the impossible and making it possible? I like that.
I like that.
I like that one.
Follow me, guys. I'll give you more.
Is it?
Put in the comments, guys. Want to hear from you. We are Mums in Melanin. Bye.
Bye.